Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about the settlement phase of a personal injury case. Specifically, we'll talk about what a settlement is, how it works, the steps involved in the settlement process, and how long it will take to wrap everything up. We'll start out by talking about what a settlement is. So what is a settlement? A settlement in a personal injury case is where the injured party and the at-fault party reach an agreement to resolve the case. In many cases, the parties will reach a pre-suit settlement, which is where the parties settle the case before the injured person files a formal lawsuit with the court. However, cases can settle during litigation, after a lawsuit has been filed. Now, let's talk about how a settlement works. When the parties reach a settlement, the at-fault party, or their insurance company, agrees to pay the injured person a certain amount of money, and in return for the money, the injured person agrees to release the at-fault party from further liability. In other words, the injured person agrees not to pursue the case any further in exchange for money. Let's move on and talk about the steps involved in the settlement process and how long these steps will take. That way, you can better understand the road ahead. The settlement process starts when the parties agree to settle a case for a specific amount of money. After that, the defense will send over a release for you to sign. Typically, the defense will send the release within 15 to 30 days of reaching a settlement. Once we receive the release, we'll review it to be sure the language is proper, and this will usually take a day or two. And then, once we review and approve the release, you can sign it. And after you sign it, we'll send the signed release back to the defense. This step will usually take about 5 to 7 days. After that, the defense will send a check. And typically, the defense will send that check within 20 to 30 days of receiving the signed release. Once we receive the check, we will deposit it into our law firm's trust account. Typically, the check will clear within 5 to 10 days. Throughout this process, we will be working to gather any medical bills from your medical providers that haven't been paid for their services. The time it takes to get medical bills will depend on the medical provider. For example, some medical providers can get us bills within 15 to 30 days, while other medical providers, like hospitals, can take 60 to 120 days or more to provide medical bills. Keep in mind that before a medical provider can send us a bill, they will typically need to finalize any payments made from third-party payers, like insurance companies or Medicare. This process of finalizing payments from third-party payers can take 30 to 60 days or more, depending on the circumstances. In addition to gathering your medical bills, we will also be working to gather any medical liens from third-party payers, like health insurance companies or Medicare. The time it takes to get these liens will vary, depending on the lien holder. For example, some health insurance companies may be able to get us lien information within 30 days, while government agencies like Medicare or Medicaid can take 90 to 120 days or more to provide us with lien information. Next, once we have gathered your medical bills and medical liens, we may be able to negotiate with the medical providers or lien holders to reduce the amount of money you owe. And this can ultimately put more money in your pocket. Negotiating these bills and liens will usually take between 15 and 45 days, but it can take longer, depending on the circumstances. Also, it's important to note that not all medical providers and lien holders are willing to negotiate. Now, once we have all the final medical bills and medical liens, we can move into the closing phase or distribution phase of the case. During this phase, we will draft a closing statement for you to sign. The closing statement will detail how the settlement funds will be distributed, and it will include things like final medical bills, final lien amounts, attorney fees, case costs, and the amount of money you will ultimately receive. Once you sign the closing statement, we will distribute the settlement funds. And then, after distributing the settlement funds, we will wait until all the checks have cleared. After that, we can close out the case. And at this point, we will have finished up the settlement process and everything is wrapped up. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to speak with someone on our team, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Feel free to call us at 321-LAWSUIT. That's 321-529-7848. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.